let's move on into the area of infrastructure. The maritime logistics infrastructure in East Africa has gone one notch higher with the inauguration of the first roll-on, roll-off freight vessel that offers faster and safer passage across the Lake Victoria. Now, the $20 million logistics solution is a project of the East Africa Maritime Transport supported by Infraco, and that's an infrastructure investor company with vast interests across the African continent. Now, let's get more on this big development news as we bring on Rodney Seema, the Regional Asset Management Lead at Infraco. We thank you for connecting to the show tonight from Nairobi. Asante sana.
Karibu sana. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate your coming on the show. How significant is this new vessel, this infrastructure on Lake Victoria in terms of trade and logistics in the East African region?
Very significant. You'll know, Uganda is a landlocked country. So all goods coming in and out of Uganda must either go through Kenya or to Tanzania. So this investment, this vessel is basically there to unlock this trade so that it can now utilize not just road, but also to utilize the lake to transport goods. So in terms of infrastructure, in terms of the impact it's going to have on Uganda, and on trade in the region, it's quite a significant one. So it's going to take some trucks off the road, put them on the lake, make for faster transportation, make it for easier logistically, and make it for safer transportation of goods. So we think it will be quite a big impact, but it's only one vessel. We need a lot more in order for that impact to be felt wholeheartedly in Uganda and Tanzania.
Yes, so it's to help solve some of the road transportation infrastructure problem. But how did it fit into the broader, the broader infrastructure strategy for the region?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Uganda actually has been quite loudly advocating for the use of the Central Corridor, which is the usage of the trade route between Dar es Salaam up to Kampala instead of using the Northern Corridor, which would be Mombasa. So this fits 100% well into their strategy for Uganda as well. And as you can imagine, most of the trade is actually going northbound between Tanzania and actually going into Uganda. So to unlock another mechanism, another safer and quicker way to get goods between the two countries fits very well in terms of the strategy for infrastructure and for trade. So we think this has actually hit the sweet spot in terms of benefiting both countries. And East Africa Marine Transport, I think, is now sitting in a pretty good place with this vessel now in Lake Victoria.
Interesting, Seema. Talk to me about the role that PIDG played in making this project come to life, into reality, the investment risk, and how you mitigate those risks.
Very significant. The mandate of PIDG is to be an early stage investor, to de-risk projects, and to then operate and get institutional investors involved at a later stage. So we unlocked this project by getting involved very early on, where a typical investor bank would not get involved due to the risks. We've proven the concepts, we've built the vessel, and now we're operating on Lake Victoria. So now we're in a prime place to be speaking out to investors to say, we've shown that the vessel works, we've shown that there is trade, we've shown that there is a business. Now come and invest, build more ships, open up other trade routes, and basically increase the trade between the two countries and build more infrastructure. That is the mandate of PIDG, and we've basically unlocked what we hope is vessel transportation and lake transportation on Lake Victoria.
So when you talk about your priorities in Africa, PIDGs and Infraco, and the lessons from this Lake Victoria's project, what are you onboarding as you look at other parts of Africa? Seema.
Yeah, good questions. I mean, we've got a lot of projects all over sub-Saharan Africa, Southern Africa, Central Africa, East and West. A lot of our businesses is around energy. As you know, the whole saying Africa is dark. So there's a lot of energy access that PIDG as a whole, Infraco, projects that are involved in. We very much like to unlock access to finance, particularly directed at development impact. So we want to do projects where there's impactful, where we can see there's a difference to the market, to the country, to the people whom we're investing in. And this is one of the projects out of many that we've proven. Just in Uganda alone, I think we've got 15 projects through our different entities that we're involved in. So this is just another feather on the cap in terms of another big infrastructure project that we've done in the region.
So the conversation had always been about the bankability of projects in Africa, whether we can come up with projects that are bankable in terms of the structure of the finance that we need, in terms of whether the procurement around it will be fair, will be transparent, and things of that nature. Is this a testimony that, yes, we can get bankable projects up and running and we can involve both local and international investors and get them up and running as far as Africa is looking to plug those hundreds of billions of dollars in infrastructure gap on the continent?
100%. We know the plight that Africa has, right? In that even if you have a good project, is it bankable? Can you make some money out of it? Will the investors get returns? As I said earlier, that is the exact answer that Pitch is providing on our different projects in our different jurisdictions. This is one of them that proves around lake transportation. This is not the only lake we're looking at, but this will prove around lake transportation that these type of mega projects can be bankable in Africa. It has not been easy. As you would know, projects in Africa have come with their own unique problems, but ours is a resolution and to go where none have gone before, and basically to push through and be patient in terms of our capital and be able to manage our project to the end. This is, I think, almost 10 years in the running in terms of the development phase, the construction of the vessel, and now operation phase, which started a few weeks ago. But we must prove a concept that it is bankable so that the other capital can now come in and start investing on the same infrastructure projects.
Very interesting. Rodney Seema, the Regional Asset Management Lead at Infraco. Thank you so much. We congratulate you and everyone on this latest maritime logistics project in East Africa. Do have yourself a great evening.